Grace and peace, everyone. My name is Raghib Ismail. I am a husband, a father of 4. I'm a former college and professional football player. I am a son of the Most High God, but I'm an average Joe who has a game plan for life. We moved to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania in Myers High School, and it was snow outside, so we couldn't go outside for track season to work out. So we had to work out in the gym inside of the high school. And we were doing, that day, we were doing starts coming out of the blocks. So the junior high and the high school was practicing together. He was telling us the objective of the drill was to be able to come out low in a dry phase, and then gradually as you go from your power phase or your dry phase into running into your full form, but you need to come out low. So we were just working, coming out low in the blocks. And he put like $1 at a certain distance, and we were supposed to be able to run, grab the $1, and keep going. Well, nobody could do it. And then I got up. None of the high school guys could do it. Then I got up, it was my turn. And I came out the blocks, and I did it right. And he's like, "That's it. Hey, come here, kid. What's your name? Raghib. Okay. You see how he came out the blocks? He came out the blocks like a rocket. That's what I want you to do." The next day in school, the guys who were on the high school and the varsity guys, when they saw me come through the hall, they like, "Look at the rocket. Come out the blocks like a rocket. The rocket man, rocket tola, rocket taka ding dong, rock around the clock," like that kind of stuff. And from that moment until this interview right now, Rocket has been my nickname. I was born a Muslim. When I was a young boy, I would have what I thought were nightmares. It would terrorize me sometimes. Then I would have like the sense of a presence behind me. Whenever I would wake up for that, I would get up, I would run into my father's room, and I would be like, Abuya, I had a nightmare. And he would always tell me to, rebuke the devil in Arabic. A couple of times I get up, he'd tell me to throw salt on my shoulder, spit a couple of times, like just a bunch of things that were supposed to be remedies that could help me. People will say, well, the reason you were seeing those, they were figments of your imagination, and we didn't go to movies, we didn't watch television, we didn't listen to the radio, we didn't read scary books. There was nothing that I was feeding myself externally that would make demons appear in my room. Fast forward, now I'm 11, going on 12. My father, he passed away when I was 10. We are in Pennsylvania. Went to my grandmother, I was like, "Nina," I explained to her what was happening. Like, I'm having these nightmares, but, I just need some, what do you think? It's like, "Oh, babe, that's nothing. Next time that happens, call on Jesus." I'm like, "Call on Jesus? What?" I was like, "I'm gonna call on Jesus. I ain't that Jesus stuff, man. That's the other man's religion. I ain't down with that." And so she like, "Hey, you just call on Jesus and you watch what happens." So I don't know, a couple of months went by and it happened again. And as it was happening, I'm terrified. I remembered what my grandmother said. She's like, "Yeah, you call on Jesus." Now, I didn't even believe in Jesus or anything like that, right? And so I remember I just said, "Jesus." And I said it because I needed help. Everything just released me. Man, I got up. I was like, "Yo, this junk is real." From that day to this day, the journey began, and I just remember I started reading the scripture. I remember we went to Hershey, Pennsylvania, and we went to the youth group went to a Leon Patillo concert. And at the end, Leon gave the altar call, and I just remember in my heart, I could feel like the spirit like drawing me, like, "Yo, you need to get up, you need to get up." And I saw my brothers, and they could sense it. They were looking at me like, "Ooh, you a sellout." Man, I stood up, and then it was like at that moment, I made that outward confession for Christ to be the Lord of my life. Then it was like everything from there just started. When I was 24, I was like, "Man, I need to be a man of God. I need to be real about this." The Lord would send people my way that didn't know me personally, and they liked what they saw in me, and so because of that, they became Muslims. And I thought it was interesting that the Lord brought them to me because I would hear their testimony and say, man, they were like, man, I honor you, man, this son. So I became a Muslim, whatever. And I would listen, I would be like, well, I just want you to know I'm not a Muslim anymore. And then I would tell them why. And I would give them the insight that the Lord gave me, and he would help me to minister to them to say, hey, you got to get back, you're in the wrong kingdom. You got to get back in this kingdom. And even though in the kingdom of this world, oppressed peoples and peoples who have what they feel like no recourse against the governments of this world, they can go with violence and terrorize. That in the big picture is not what you need. You need what's on some everlasting type stuff that's going to be effective and allow you to live the way you were created for forevermore. As the Lord brought people to my life, and I asked him, I prayed like, hey man, Lord, is there anybody who became Muslim because they thought I was a Muslim? Send them my way and help me to minister to them so I can encourage their heart and show them, the real king is Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, the soon returning king. And as a matter of fact, when you see me, you see him. And let me tell you how to be that same.
Hi, I'm Ronaldo Wynn with Game Plan for Life, and you just heard from Raghib Ismail, who's also known as the Rocket, a household name that transcended the college football world as well as the NFL. And Rocket talked about how he had an encounter with Jesus Christ at a young age as a devout Muslim. And it wasn't to that point that he decided to make a change and a decision to accept Jesus Christ into his heart. Go to the chapter in the book where Chuck Colson talks about salvation and how to get on God's winning team. And for more information, go to GamePlanForLife.com if you want a free Testament study Bible as well as a Game Plan for Life book.